You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm host Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The earliest season that makes official welcome to 60 years, 2,800 episodes of the oldest broadcasting podcast that's still... we're active every day, man. We do three shows a weekday. So what do you want from us, folks? Refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com, YouTube.com, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, and all those. You can find us on the internet. Today, amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking about her new debut series book. It is called The Book of Eternity by Jacqueline Penwell. We're going to get into it with her and find out what this new series is about. And I'm going to find out how many pages are in this thing, because if it's the Book of Eternity, well, it might be infinity as the number of pages. Jacqueline, parents called her Happy Wander growing up because she loved to explore, something she still does through imagination. She flies with angels, swims with dolphins, and rides dragons through magical forests, always with her Shih Tzu, Shadow, by her side. A graduate of the School of Visual Arts, she has a background in writing and filmmaking. Her award-winning short film, And Then She Was Gone, and her SAG Award-winning role in HBO's Boardwalk Empire reflect her creative spirit. Welcome to the show, Jacqueline. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Chris. Thank you for having me. How are
Thanks
you?
for coming. It's great to have you. And you've happily wandered onto the Chris Voss Show, as your parents would put it.
I have. It's a good place to be. So
there you go. Some people have to be dragged here. Some people come here willingly, but we're glad to have you. So give us any.com's website, social media, wherever you want people to get to know you better on the internet.
Sure. I have my website, which is jacquelinepenwell.com. You can go there, learn all about the Book of Eternity and future projects. I also have on Facebook, it's author Jacqueline Penwell, and on Instagram, it's Jacqueline Penwell author. So just reverse there.
There you go. So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your new novel?
My new novel is The Book of Eternity, and I'll just show it here. Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, it's 278 pages, not an eternity, but it is the first book in the Copper Moon series. And it's about a 16-year-old girl, Gray, who moves to Sleepy Key after the death of her dad. And she moves with her brother and her mother. Mm-hmm. And as she's wandering, her and her brother come across this book, the Book of Eternity, falls into the sky. And she touches it and therefore sets off the fight for her soul unknowingly.
Oh, wow. This is why people don't read books anymore, maybe, because maybe they're worried that they might end up in a fight for the soul. I don't
know. Very true.
I'm going to be careful which books I touch from here. This is why I do Audible, because then I don't have to touch the book.
Mm-hmm.
No.
See, you're smart, you know.
There you go. Yeah, I've already got a battle for my soul. I think it's in divorce court. No, I'm just kidding. So tell us about this young girl. What's the name of her again?
Her name is Gray.
Gray. And why did you choose to write about this story? How did it come to you? What was the inspiration behind it?
So the inspiration, I guess, was my mom. She had spent a lot of time in hospitals. I spent a lot of time in hospitals with my mom. Long story short, you see a loved one in a hospital bed and they're so much more than that. Yeah. And she brought the love of books to me at a very young age. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what? I need to do something here, something to engage her. And so I said, Mom, I would like to write a book. Will you do this with me? Mm-hmm. And of course she laughed, like she always did. And she said, of course I will.
Yeah.
So when we spent time in the hospitals, that's what we would do. I would say, okay, I'm thinking about these characters. What do you think? And she would say yes, no, and okay, I'm thinking about angels, because I wanted to keep it light. I did not know the book would go in the direction that it went until years later, when I visited it and had lost my mom. And then it kind of took a very different turn. But she had helped me with, the characters, their names, the angels, and the premise of the book.
So when you were writing the book, were you doing it to just kind of pass the time with your mom, make it easy in being in the hospital and all that stuff, and not really an intention to publish? Or maybe was there kind of like, well, maybe?
There was a maybe. I thought it would be really cool to write something with my mom. She had always encouraged me to write, and she had always encouraged my creativity and, the crazy side of me. She had a lot of patience with that, as did my dad. But I thought it would be really cool to publish something, with her. I didn't get there with her to do it, but in a sense I did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was always in the back of my head to have it published.
There you go. What an awesome story. I remember my father called me from the hospital one time, and I could hear a lot of fear in his voice. And so I started telling him stupid jokes, just anything I could come up with. And is your nurse cute? What's the food like? The standard hospital jokes, I think, maybe, I don't know. And it was, you just got to reach for what material you can at the time. So I just started telling him stupid limericks and jokes and whatever, and playing on hospital stuff. And within a few minutes, he really had the fear in his voice that things are going bad, and they were. But I got him to laugh. I got him, I told him funny stories. Oh yeah, one time this nurse, and eventually I had him laughing, and all that fear dissipated from his voice, and so what a beautiful thing to share with someone in the hospital is to help share stories or build stories, or focus on the future, maybe. Yeah.
Right. And that was a beautiful thing that you made your dad laugh, because that's what it's all about. And growing up, that's what they did for us, right?
Yeah, they did.
So you try to do that for them without the role reversal.
Yeah. Plus, it gets your mind off of what's going on when you're. I did a hernia surgery recently, and being in a hospital, plugged full of wires and stuff. That's not anything you need to get your mind off that.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. So the Book of Eternity, now you've got this mapped out for a future series in the book. How big do you see this series? Is there a cap to this? Some authors will put a cap to a certain number of books. What's your feeling about this? What you plan to do?
My feeling is 3, so a trilogy. 2 more, after this. When I finished this book, I thought the way I ended it, which I had no idea how I was going to end it, really. I said, okay, so there needs to be a second. And just thinking about it, I feel that it can go 3 books, and then I'll stop it at that.
Well, there you go. Is it possible you may go beyond?
Beyond 3, I don't think so, but I think I will write another series after this.
There you go. Yeah. Now you've worked in the age of TV and film. Do you maybe see you could maybe port this to a screenplay?
I do, but I'm thinking more maybe TV. TV's so hot right now, and there's so many opportunities, and it's young adult, and that's a really hot area.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, right now. So I'm thinking that more than a film, but I would be open to that as well, of course.
Sure, yeah. Like you're not going to turn down Steven Spielberg, eh?
No.
If he wants to produce a movie. Who would do that? Is there anybody who does that? I don't know.
I don't think so.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it? No, I don't think you're quite at the caliber, Steven Spielberg.
No.
I'm holding out for Francis Ford Coppola. I don't know. Both great authors or directors. So writing a book, how is that different than some of the other stuff you've been doing with your career and acting and stuff?
So screenplays and TV pilots or TV scripts that you get, they are usually like a TV script is anywhere between like 45 and 60 pages, and at least in my experience, and a film script is usually around 120 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot condensed into a very, short, tiny little space, where a book is larger, it's a larger scope. When I get a script, I look at it and the descriptions are very brief. So walked to the car, it was night kind of thing. And then the world is brought to life in pre-production, right? With the director and the cinematographer and other people. But in writing a book, you need to bring the world to life in the pages. So you need to, be very descriptive and have the characters react and act in a certain way so the reader can feel what the characters are feeling or what you would like the reader to feel. So for me, writing the book was definitely more challenging than any screenplay or TV pilot I've written.
Yeah. I mean, you have to fill in the visuals. Like anytime you got like movies or TV, you got the music that can come up, and you got the visuals of, the add to the story that tell it as it passes by. But yeah, with a book, that's the biggest challenge with writing fiction is developing the characters, fleshing them out, making sure the reader understands them, and then the development maybe as they go through the story, or for multiple books in your case with a series. And what now this is for fans of nostalgic young adult angel fantasy novels. Do I have that right?
Yes.
There you go. Why is that an exciting genre? Is that a big genre, the angel fantasy novels?
I believe it is. I've had a lot of feedback on that, and I've had some people say, like 8 or 10 years ago, there were series out that were about angels, and I really missed that, and I'm glad that this is back, so I can, read about it. So I'm fortunate in that way.
Yeah, romance loves. They love those vampire books, but I think this is the first time we've had someone on the show who's got a book for paranormal romance. There you go.
Yes.
I don't know. I have a huge dating group, and I've seen the demands that people are putting on each other for dating and courtship, companionship nowadays, and I don't know. And paranormal they might have a better chance of finding someone in the paranormal to date with the list of demands. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard the whole dating world's a little tricky these days.
It's a funky place to be. Right now, the kids are going, "What does funky mean?" Did he grow up in the 70s? He did. So there you go. And the Copper Moon series is what it's going to be called in the series. Is that correct?
Yes, the Copper Moon series.
There you go. The Copper Moon. I like that. There's an imagery there of the Copper Moon that I think I like. In fact, I think we just had a Copper Moon, didn't we?
We did. I think it was
there too.
Last night.
Yeah, there you go. It look copperish. I'll just call it that. Yeah. But now, what made you want to pick a 16-year-old girl for this? Was that do your characters? It's not like you have to develop your characters. Do you have some that stalk you and they bug you until you write about them?
Sometimes they do, but for this, I wanted it to be young adult, so I just kind of went with like the 16-year-old. I also used to teach acting. I used to run a theater group. I had a lot of high school and college age students, and I saw what they went through, and I saw what they worried about. And I remembered thinking, this is crazy. Why are you worrying about that? It means nothing. Right. And then because they were so smart and you just knew they were going to do wonderful things, which they went on to do incredible things. But it brought me back to when I was their age. And I remembered the things I used to worry about that were not important at all. And, looking back, and they have no effect on your life as you get older. So I wanted to sort of explore that age again. And so that was, why I went back to that age. And I also had a couple of students who had lost a parent. And in light of what I was sort of going through at the time when I started writing this in the very beginning, what I didn't realize was I was looking at my students who had lost their parents and
Oh.
one parent and what they had gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate enough not to lose my parents at a very young age, but
Mm-hmm.
they still feel the same things that we do, maybe just on a different level.
Yeah.
But then having to navigate high school and college without both parents, without having only one.
Yeah.
Right. So I just kind of wanted to explore that theme because I had seen some of my students go through that.
Yeah. Were you a fan of this genre before? Did you read a lot of books? Was there any authors that influenced you from the genre?
I honestly did not,
Hmm.
but I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan.
Mhm.
So I was aware of different books out there, like the Twilight series, right? And then
Oh,
there's
yeah.
the Hush series, things like that. And I watched a couple of shows that were young adult. And I actually had some scripts brought to me when I was acting that were young adult and read those, and just kind of garnered enough to understand what the genre was about. And then also having the students that I had, they would bring in books and they would talk about them with me. And I learned a lot that way as well.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Mhm.
You know, I this is the first, we have hundreds of romance novels on the show. And this is the first time I've heard of this particular genre. So there's lots of, it's kind of interesting. Do you think it's a quick read, like a beach read? I know a lot of the ladies like those beach read books.
It can be. I've
Mhm.
gotten feedback where somebody has, said, "Oh, easy, great read. I
Mhm.
did it in a day and a half."
There
And
you
then,
go.
yeah, I had somebody else like, "Oh, 2 days." And then, there are other people who it takes them a week or 2 weeks
Mhm.
to read it. I didn't want to write a 500-page novel because I figured there would be, a lot of people out there who maybe don't have the time to sit down and read that much, especially within this genre of young adult.
Mhm.
Um, I had some people tell me you should make it longer, you should make it longer, but I'm glad that I didn't make it longer and I kept it at this length.
Yeah. Hey, they a lot of the publishers now, they've just gone smaller and smaller and thinner,
Mhm,
because people just have a shorter attention span. They got that phone pinging them and stuff. Why do
mhm.
you think reading books is important as opposed to, I guess, doom scrolling on social media?
Oh, yeah. I'm not a big fan of social media. I honestly wouldn't be on it if I didn't have to promote myself.
Mhm.
Uh, for me, books, just holding a book in your hand and
Mhm.
opening it and having yourself transported to another world, or even if it's nonfiction, you're learning, right? And it's the book to your brain. It's not, I'm scrolling and I'm not really remembering what I'm doing. And I just love holding a book in my hand,
Yeah.
being
There's
transported anywhere.
Mhm.
I think that's so much more important than social media.
Yeah, and I mean, you can get lost down some wormholes. I've been known to get on TikTok, and I'm just like, oh, I'll just watch a few TikToks, swipe through them before I go to sleep, and then I'll be swiping through, and then I'll look up, and I'm like, why is the light coming through the window?
Exactly. You went down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're just like, I can't sleep. I guess I'll just look at the screen one more time and flip through a couple. Maybe that'll put me to sleep. Man, that blue light keeps your old brain awake. It goes flash your brain, and you're just like, and then you're just like, oh, I'm going to be screwed today because I didn't get any sleep. But yeah, books are great. I was just talking earlier today on a prior show about how important books were in reading and the development of the mind.
Mhm,
We're talking about the tactileness of how I really enjoy reading newspapers,
mhm.
and the old newspapers where you held them in your hand. It was made of paper, and you get black ink all over yourself by the time you got done. But there's something about it that I really like. Same thing with the book. There's something tactile and making notes and writing in it, and having to build that vision that the author is signaling to you. The vision of the scenario in your head,
Mhm.
and so there's a lot of work that has to be done there. You know, when you watch these videos that are on YouTube, you know, it's pretty much the everything's designed for you. It's pretty much you know, kind of a lazy brain sort of way of doing it. But when you read a book, you've got to, you know, you've got to build that imagination the author feeds you in your head and see the pictures, and you know, everything comes alive. And I think that's a whole kind of it's a very personal experience. Because you know,
Mhm.
if you ever read a book and then you see a movie on the book, sometimes you go, "Well, that's not how I imagine that dude or that woman in the book." You know, I read the book. It was I painted my own kind of version. It's kind of like lyrics to songs. You know how people take lyrics and you know they'll apply their own sort of whatever filter of their life onto it. You
Mhm.
know, for
Yes.
years and years and years, I thought the Stairway to Heaven was a song about me and I don't know, an acid trip I went on when I was a kid or something. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. But it wasn't. And I was very disappointed. And so I'm suing Led Zeppelin to this day. So there you go. Did your roles in acting, reading scripts, and being in this field really help you in writing out the book? I would imagine so. What were some ways maybe that helped?
It definitely did. It helped me in character development. I was fortunate enough to receive scripts from pretty incredible writers, and I had access to these writers, and they were very kind to me. So reading those scripts, again, character development, story development, you know, the plots, the beats, all of that, and a lot of aha moments when I'm reading, like, oh, I see, you know, like this character said this here because it had something to do, you know, like 20 pages later. It had something to do with that. And there's a lot of that and through lines. So when I sat to write this, all of that stuck with me. And I made sure to, you know, apply that. And also, what's for me really important as a writer as well as an actor is characters need to do something. They need to be there for a reason. And what I do when I write is after I'm finished, and you know, you're on like your 5th or 6th or 20th draft, I stand behind the character, I read the book, and I just take that journey with the character. And I ask myself, is this character interesting? Would I want to play this character? Would somebody else want to play this character if it's male? And how can I make it more interesting? Certain tick I could give this character. There needs to be a reason for him to be here or her. And that has helped me a lot. And also talked to, you know, writers who I admire about this. And they have also just helped me develop in writing characters that way, as well as stories.
Well, there you go. Developing characters. I mean, it's interesting how we love stories. They entertain us. They shape our world. They teach us. As I always like to say on the show, stories are the fabric of life. Without them, who would we be? You know, I mean, if you took away all your stories, well, you wouldn't know who you were, right? Even the good, bad, and ugly ones, right?
You need those. You need the good, bad, and the ugly because they sort of form who you are, you know, as well as the good ones.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, yeah, sometimes you're like, well, I wish that had happened to me in life. But then you can look back over life and go, well, it shaped me in some interesting ways. You know, ways you learn to survive. That's kind of what, that's kind of a thing for it there. Do you see this as a burgeoning career for you? Do you maybe see you quitting doing the other things? Or are you going to balance it out and try and do everything?
I would just like to write. I think I would just like to write. My life is somewhere very different now. I have obligations that I didn't have in the past, and writing allows me to be in a place where I can take care of my obligations, which I love to do, and have time to spend with the people I love and care about, and still get to be creative.
Wow. I got out of my obligations by faking my death. I think yours is probably better than what I did, but I don't know. the kids weren't that great. They started being teenagers, and I was like, I'm out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Well, this has been wonderful to have you. Anything more we want to plug or promote on the book? Do you have names for the new books you want to tease out, or you don't want to give them away yet, maybe?
I don't want to give them away yet, but I appreciate it. And as I have a couple of things in the works for the future, but I just don't want to say them yet, just in case they don't pan out.
Sure.
But grateful to be here, and I want to thank you for having me on your show. It was really wonderful.
Thank you, Jacqueline. We certainly appreciate it. Give us your .coms as we go out, wherever social media, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
Sure. You can go to JacquelinePenawil.com, which is my website. You can also go to author Jacqueline Penawil for Facebook, and on Instagram, Jacqueline Penawil author.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Chris.
Thank you. Order up our book, folks, wherever fine books are sold. You can find it there on the marketplace. The Book of Eternity, part of the Copper Moon series. You can pick it up wherever fine books are sold, and of course, be the first one on your block to read it and get ready for those new books coming out. Thanks very much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com, Facebook.com, YouTube.com /Chris Voss. It's Chris Voss everywhere. It's the original Chris Voss. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.